Okay, let's try this again. I have already tried recording this video once, and it did not work out so well. I'll explain why when I get to what went wrong the first time. Okay, welcome. So today I want to record a video showing how I come up with new scripts or new features for this game. And the reason for that is because although I've worked with this engine now, RPG Maker VX, for 15 years, I've never actually taken any courses on Ruby. I've never actually, you know, learned how to code in Ruby, I guess, in a formal way. The only way I actually know how to write scripts in Ruby is because I've spent the last 15 years studying other people's scripts, studying how this game and this engine uh, structures its data and its methods. I've studied scripters like modern algebra and Zariab and all sorts of phenomenal and well-known scripters, um, and studied how they write code and how just certain um, logic gates are written. Uh, but I've never actually studied. I've never actually taken any courses on Ruby. I've never actually taken any classes. It's just been from studying scripts, tweaking them, trying to make them do something a little bit different than what the base original script does, and then expanding on that knowledge in new and interesting ways. I yeah, it's been an interesting journey to say the least. But it's interesting because this is RGSS2. A lot of the things that you could learn on how to code with Ruby in like just looking it up on Stack Overflow wouldn't be applicable to this because it's too old. Um, Ruby has evolved over time, but oh, that's interesting. What is that? Oh yeah, no, okay, that's fine. Um, Ruby has evolved over time, but RGSS2 obviously hasn't. But as a result of that process of just kind of studying other people's scripts and figuring out how they work and then tweaking them to do different things, I've been able to get to a point where I can make my own scripts, which consist of an entire randomized loot system using an engine that is not in any way designed for that kind of a system. Uh, So yeah, my goal for today is I wanted to find a way to do something that I've been trying to do for a while, and I wanted to showcase the process of that because it is it's I maybe have learned how to do this in a slightly unique way, um, and I wanted to show you my scripting process. So what I'm trying to do today, I will open up the engine and give you an example. What I'm trying to do today is figure out a way to sort items with this loot system that I've made. Now, that is already doable for weapons and armors. So if I go to this shop here, you can see that weapons are sorted based on their rarity. So I've got rare, then uncommon, then common at the bottom. And even in your inventory, I've got this, rare spear and then this common spear. When I first wrote this script, if I was to buy something that's, uncommon rarity, it would appear at the bottom of the list. But now if I buy something, why don't I have any gold? That's because I didn't, yeah, I messed something up here. Okay, here, let's do a little bit of a debug thing. This won't stay in the game, obviously, but we're going to change the gold. Let's give ourselves 2,000 gold. And we're also going to reset the shops. Just because I know that's going to be necessary later on when we're doing this. And we'll just add a little text prompt to show that it worked. There we go. I may have made a slight mistake somewhere, but it's okay. This is part of what I want to show you in this video is how I maybe sometimes make mistakes and need to fix them. That's not what he had before, is it? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, shops have been reset. I now have 2,000 gold. I'm going to save so that I don't have to do that over and over again. Okay, yeah, and as you can see, the shops are different now. But yeah, anyway, so I've got this rare spear and this common spear. Normally, when I first wrote the script, if I was to buy a green item, which is uncommon rarity and is between blue and white, it would appear at the bottom of the list. But now, it appears in between them, because even in your backpack, items are sorted by rarity. As you can even see here, this is epic rarity. So that I've been able to do with weapons and armors, but what I have not been able to do is do that with consumable items. So I'm going to bring in the item shop. I'm just going to add 10 to a variable here. With the item shop, items technically do have rarities, but all it does is affect how often they show up. So for example, this apple is technically a rare item. If it was a weapon, it would be a blue rarity. But all items have red names just to signify they are consumable items. But yeah, some items do have specific quote unquote rarities, but when I tried creating a script that would sort these items by rarity, it broke the game in the most ridiculous way. I'll give you an example. If I was to use this apple and select a party member who's got full health and use the item and then back out, for whatever reason, it would disappear. But it also wouldn't, because if I was to go to like a storage chest or a loot table, it would still appear in the inventory. Obviously, it's not doing that now because I undid what I did last time. This was the last time I tried recording this video. This is exactly what happened. I created a script that would sort all consumable items by their quote-unquote rarity, which was actually just a element in the database. So I would say, you know, from mythic to common, I would basically check like, okay, this is mythic rarity, this is legendary rarity, and that would sort these items based on the element. It would cycle through and be like, if it's this, put it in first. If it's this, put it in second. If it's this, put it in third, kind of thing. And what I did with that is I went to every item category and I assigned their rarity based on their category. So I would make all health healing items mythic rarity and then all revival items legendary. Not actually to say that that's how rare those items are, but just so that that's how they would appear in the database or in like loot tables and shops and your inventory. That's the order that they would appear in. For some reason, though, using the item on something that it is incompatible with would remove its rarity, which would then remove it from the sorting entirely, but it would still take up space in your backpack. And that was very frustrating. So I'm not going to use that method this time. I'm going to find a different method of achieving the same result, a different method of sorting consumable items based on either their name or their category without actually needing to break the game, which means I do need to find a way to do it different from how I've sorted weapons and armors. But with that kind of preface out of the way, let's get started. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to go into my script database here and I'm going to find, first thing I want to do is find anywhere that I'm sorting weapons and armor, because items would be included in that and it would just be a matter of figuring out a unique way of being able to sort them. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to, I believe it would be under, let's check window base for a second here, because I know this is where text color is changed. And let's see if I can find it. Okay, so this is where I change text color based on an item's rarity. I'll just zoom this in a little bit. So for example, if it includes element 9, which is mythic, then it would change the color to represent that. If it includes 10, that's legendary, and it changed the color to reflect that. And if the colorblind mode is turned on, then it adds a text symbol as well to signify its rarity. Now this is actually probably the code that I'm going to be using, roughly, to sort items, is that I'm going to, if it is an item, I'm going to compare its name. And then if its name is assigned to wherever you are iterating through a predetermined array that I'll be setting up, then it will spit that item out first. And now that's going to be a little bit tricky though, for two reasons. One is that some items have two words in their name, like vampire and dust. And some of those items have similar words, like fire cherry and fire bomb. Why that is going to make things difficult is because this item at the bottom, gold, this is just a template. Whenever this generates in the game, it will actually figure out what the value is of the gold that you're finding, and it's randomly generated, and then it will spit that out at the start of the name and concatenate it onto the word gold. So if you find 100 gold, it would change this name to 100 gold. So in order to be able to sort gold, I can't just check to see if the name is gold, because it wouldn't be. It's going to be 100 gold or 157 gold. And because I don't know what that value is going to be when I'm sorting it, I can't just look for the word gold. What I can do is I can split the name and then say, okay, look for if the second word in the name is gold. But the problem is, if I'm looking for the second word, and that would also work for things like fire cherry and fire bomb. If I look for the word cherry or bomb in the second word in the name, that will allow me to sort those items. But the problem with that is for things like torch and grape and orange and apple and steak. There is no second word. So if I'm sorting it by the second word in the name, I will not be able to sort these ones. So I kind of need to do a two-tiered sorting system, one that looks for the first word in the name, and it looks specifically for these ones, and then one that looks for the second word in the name, and it looks for specifically everything else. That also could be a little bit complex, and may lead to some unintended sorting consequences with the bombs, because they all have the same second word. And if I want these sorted in a particular order, that could be tricky. I could make it so that it just sorts all bombs together regardless, and it might mix them up a little bit, but we'll get to that. We'll figure that out. So that's kind of my idea as to how I'm going to sort these in a way that should not break this game, but we will find out. But this is essentially the line of code that I'm going to want to use. So I'm actually just going to copy that right now. And now let's go to window item. And yep, so anywhere that I see this here, this is where I am actually sorting weapons and armors based on their rarity. And then the loop after that spits out all the items. So this is the line that we're actually going to change. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy this, we're going to paste it, and we're going to comment it out, just so that in case something goes wrong, I have the original code that I can just revert back to. And now what we're going to do, we're going to make some edits to this line of code here. So for item and game party items, so we're cycling through every item in the inventory, skip it unless it is an item, in this case a consumable. In other words, skip any weapons or armors, and skip that iteration if it is not meant to be included, like say if you're in battle and it can only be used in the menu. Then you push the item into the array that you're going to be outputting them in. And this line of code is actually not necessary. This basically just sets the index in the menu to whatever the last item you used is. But this game does not have stackable items. which means that this line of code is kind of unnecessary. This would be used if, say you're playing a game where you can have stackable items and you use a potion. The next time you go into the menu, the index, the cursor, will be already highlighting potion because it's the last item you used. But because there are no stackable items, when you use an item, it's gone. So this line of code is actually not necessary. I'm going to take that out. And I still have it saved here just in case. But now what we're going to do is we're going to actually make this sortable based on item names. So, oh, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's go back to here. This is what I'm going to need here. I have to be careful about how I do this because if I press the wrong key, I'm going to stop my recording. And unfortunately, I'm using backslash as my record key because it's the key that I probably use the least when I'm doing any other recording other than scripting. So I'm going to have to be careful not to touch that. But anyway, okay, that's the code I'm going to be using. Now what I'm going to do first is, I'm going to create an array that contains the names of all the items in the database. It basically, they're identifiers, how I want them to be sorted. And then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make sure that I place them in the order that I want them to appear. So to make that happen, I'm going to open up a separate copy of this game just so I can have the database open and just switch back and forth instead of closing the editor, opening the database, scrolling down, closing the database, opening the editor, etc., etc. Did that work? That didn't work. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this the long way. So the way I want items to be sorted is the most used to the least used. So we're going to start with healers. And we're going to go with the highest tier healer first, which will be steak, then apple, then orange, then grape. So that should be easy. Let's start with that. This is probably not the most efficient way of doing this, but it's the only way I know that I'm fairly certain will work without breaking anything. Okay, so we've got those. Then after the healers, I'm thinking revival items next. And there's only two. There's vampire dust and a revival fig. Now I think I'm going to identify those by the last word in the name. So it'll just be dust and fig. There we go. Make sure I don't miss it. Not fog, fig. There we go. Okay. Then I think stat restoring items would come next. And if we're going top tier first, it would be the heal mushroom. And then it would be the fire cherry, the ice berry, the shock root, and the weak herb. So we'll go by mushroom, cherry, berry, root, herb. Yeah. Mushroom, cherry, berry, root, herb. Mushroom, cherry, berry, root, herb. Okay. Then after those, I think maybe bombs next, because those are used in combat and they will likely be used fairly frequently because they're fairly common. Whereas things like a limit onion or an energy carrot are not going to be used as frequently because they are quite rare. And so you kind of want to save them for certain special circumstances. Whereas bombs you could be using all the time because you find them quite often. Yeah, so we'll go bombs next. And I think what we'll do is we'll just sort them by the name bomb, which will both reduce the number of times we need to iterate through this array, um, and just kind of simplify things, although it will mean that if we find them in a certain order, it will mix them up a little bit. But that should be okay. That won't be too big of an issue. So we'll go bombs. And then, okay, so we've done our healers, our revivals, our stat restoring, and then our combat items. Next, I think I'd like to do things like utility items, which would be things like the limit onion, the energy carrot, and maybe even the warp nut, because it can be used in battle. It can also be used out of battle, though. It's the only item that actually serves a purpose both in and out of battle, other than healers. So I think, yeah, we'll go the onion, the carrot, and the nut. So let's give those a try. So onion, carrot, nut. Okay. And then after that, what's next? Next is basically anything that's not used in battle. So we have the torch, the tranquil flower, the death bloom, the spectral pepper, gravity leak, hardy tomato I'm going to put last, and the golden key. Actually, you know what? I feel like I should put the hardy tomato next, because that is a, yeah, we'll do the tomato next, and then we'll do the rest of these, and then we'll put gold at the very end. So we'll go tomato, pepper, flower, bloom, torch, key. Tomato, pepper, flower, bloom, torch, key. Tomato, pepper, flower, bloom, torch, key. And I think the last one then is gold. Tomato, pepper, flower, bloom, torch, key, gold. Okay, now let's just check to see. So I think I got everything, but let's just double check. So from 141 to 166, that's what, 16? 26? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, yeah, 26 items. And we'll subtract 3 for the bombs. Let's just see how many entries we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, perfect. We've got everything listed here. I'm probably going to have a little bit of repeated code here, which I'm not super happy about, but it might be necessary. We will find out. Anyway, so this is how we're going to sort our items now. They're going to appear in this order in our inventory and in any shops. So let's see what we can do to make that work. Essentially, we're going to do the same thing that we did up here, but instead it's going to be for items, and instead of sorting it by element, it's instead going to be sorted by wherever it is in this array. So we're going to say for I in item names. So this will basically iterate through this entire array, and this iterator here will be equal to whatever one we're checking. And now what we're going to do, let's see, next one, let's include, okay. Okay, so, all right, I'm just trying to make sure I'm thinking this through to make sure it actually works the way I need it to. Next one, let's include next unless item, because yeah, we're going through item in game party items. So This is the item that we are checking it against. Next, unless item dot. Okay, this is where I need this. Wait a minute, no, why do I have that line of code? That's not what I need. Okay, I need that there. This here. This is what I'm checking it against. We'll actually do it this way. If item name split at 0 is equal to I, or, oh no, I can't put the, because I can't press the backslash key that's going to end the recording. I need to, but I don't like using the or word. I prefer to, is there something I can just quickly nab? Nope. Okay. Oh, right there. Perfect. I'm just going to copy that. There we go. Ha. Workarounds. Or if item name split at 0 is equal to I, or item name split at 1 is equal to I. So we're basically checking to see if the first or the second word is equal to whatever point it is at in the array. And since there shouldn't be any overlap, it should work. So if, let's say we're checking through, so basically we're checking through this array. So let's say we're at the first spot stake. We're checking through all the items that I have in my inventory, regardless of what their ID is in the inventory, because that does actually change with this system. And then if that item is an item, it is meant to be included in the list right now, and its name, the first word of its name is equal to stake, or the second word in its name is equal to stake, then it's going to push that item into the array. That should sort them correctly. It should. This is not the only place I need to do this, though. There's a couple places where this sorting method is done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. This should work. If it doesn't, we'll need to go back and do some debugging, but I'm really hoping it works first try. That would be fantastic. That rarely happens, but it could. I might get lucky one time. Okay, we're going to try putting it in here. Did I? No, okay. There we go. We're going to comment that out. Let me just make sure. Yep, that's all the same code essentially. Next include, yep, okay. Oh, and next if item is equal to nil, that I should hang on to actually. Well, no, why is that there? Why is that even necessary? Because you're already checking if it includes something that would be okay, weird. I'm just gonna put it in. Well, hold on, just in case. I don't want to break something that is not good. Yeah, okay. So that's that there. What is? Oh no, yeah, that's the salvage mechanic. Okay, that's good. All right, and now there's one more place where I think I need to change this, which is this sort inventory script created by Koskins back in, oh god, 2011. Makes me feel old. Okay, I need to find the sorting method within this script, which is right here. Okay. Comment this out, and now here's the thing. This I might actually be able to, I might not necessarily need to recreate this entire array every time I sort. I could probably do it because it's all in that same scene. Let's do this. There. now I can just reference that from pretty much anywhere. So there we go. For item in game party items, next unless it's an item, next unless, oh, okay. Now I need to do this a little bit differently. Yeah, we're cycling through that. Next, unless the item is an RPG item, that's correct. Next, unless item window dot include item. Next, if item is equal to nil, push, and then if the item gets pushed, I need to actually add to a game variable, which determines your backpack capacity. That should work. Yes, okay. So I'm going to copy that and bring it back down here. Let me just make sure I didn't leave the scene. No, okay, we're good. Okay, here's the next bit of sorting. Bump that forward, comment this out. I'm going to copy that again. Want to make sure, again, I'm not missing anything. Nope, that is good. And one more here. So what these are basically doing is that if you change the category with either the L or the R buttons, then you reload the inventory based on what your category is and make sure that you're selecting the first item in that array. Now this, I believe, will sort the items specifically in the inventory, but not in loot tables such as monster drops, chests, or shops. But this should sort things in your inventory. However, there is something else that I need to be aware of, which is making sure that the description, this here, stats window refresh, that, okay, I suspect it's going to do something wrong here, but we're going to start by checking to see if the items that I have in my inventory get sorted. The fact that we were able to boot up the game and there was no crash right away tells me that at least the code is clean. Whether or not it works is another issue. So we'll find out. Okay, so let's bring in Jafar. And, okay, so here's a good, why do I still have no gold? I saved, right? Did I not? Hold on. What's in your, weird, I'm sure I saved. Okay, something weird happened there. I might need to look into that later. Not going to worry about it right now, but we're just going to do something here. Change gold will increase by 2,000. We will then, no, I'm sure that worked. Why did that not? Very strange. Okay. Gained gold. Okay, there is something I'm going to have to fix later, but that's not part of this video. We're not going to worry about it. It's not important for what we're doing. Honestly, it's probably something just small and stupid that I didn't even think of. So it's not a big deal. Okay, gained gold. There we go. I have 2,000 gold. Let's bring in Jafar. And even those are different. Something weird happened there. Anyway, oh, you know what? I think I know exactly what happened. Do I have my save point switch turned on? If I don't, that would be exactly what's going on. Save point map, save point X and Y. But is the switch on? If I could remember which switch I used for that. Say, no, it's not. There we go. Okay, problem solved. Now if I save and quit, let's just see what happens now. I don't know how that went wrong. I must have done something when I was testing in a different file. or testing for a different video. Yeah, now I still have my gold, so we're good. Okay. I just had the switch disabled, but it's fixed now. And if I just double check, the switch is still on, so yeah, I didn't break anything. We're good. Okay, so he's got a good little mix of items here. Let's buy some items in kind of a random order based on their category and see how it sorts them. So let's go with a revival item, a utility item, a healing item, a bomb, a stat healer, and then another bomb. So this is the order that they appear in our backpack within loot tables. And if I go to like a chest, for example, you can see that they're still in that order. But if we go to our inventory, the game crashes. That is lovely. Okay. Because I'm a dummy. Somehow, some way, I messed up. Okay. For I in item names, is that the position of the array, or is that... Oh, yeah, I'm a dummy. Okay. Yeah, I is the position within the array. So what I really need is item names. I don't know why I put an underscore there. That's not what I... Item names at I. That's what I need. There we go. Okay. That will actually compare the position of the array. Like the content of the position of the array, not just what the iteration of the array is. There we go. I now need to fix that for everywhere that I put this code in. Which would be, let's see, I at item names, item names at I, item names at I. Also, I don't know why I did that. That should be a 1. Did I do that everywhere? Oh my gosh. What is wrong with me? Yeah, I sure did. Okay. There we go. Item name split at 1, not at I. That's jeepers. Okay, where is my brain at today? I think that's good. Okay, and now back down to the sort inventory script. And everywhere that I sorted here, item names at I. Item names at I, there we go. Okay, here's the next one. I'm going to do this in reverse order so that I don't have to scroll each time. Good, and one more. There we go. Okay. See, that's just it. I have not taken courses on scripting in Ruby, but I get the feeling that's a stupid mistake that probably even advanced programmers make when they're just not thinking straight. Because I've taken computer science classes before. I took a couple years of web design at NATE, and I learned C# and things like that. I just sometimes don't think very clearly. Okay, so we'll try this again. We'll go a revival, a healer, utility, a bomb, a stat healer, and then another bomb. And we'll check that out. And yep, that's still in the right order in the loot table. And when I go here, it still didn't work. What did I do this time? Cannot convert string to integer. What do you mean cannot convert string to integer? Item name split at 0. That's a string. Am I trying to compare this to an integer somehow? It should be comparing it to... What on earth is it talking about? If item name split at 1 is equal to a string, now okay. This is where it threw the error. I'm sure that if you're watching this and you actually know code, like you know how to do the code word things, you're screaming at this screen telling me it's this is really simple, like why are you not doing this, this is so dumb. You're right, I'm just a little dumb. I'm gonna try something. I don't think this is gonna work because I think for whatever reason, no, that wouldn't work. Item names that I for item and game party items. I'm checking the name of that item, which I literally do right here. Wait a minute. No, that's still the same. Okay. Ah, boy. Okay. We're going with my usual method of let's throw mud at the wall and see what sticks. I, I don't see how that could possibly be. I have no idea how that could possibly be the problem. But sometimes it just works. So let's find out. Basically, we're just converting these to strings, although they already should be strings, so this shouldn't change a single thing. But you never know. Sometimes it's just the little things that you overlook that just shouldn't make sense but do. I've had things like that happen. Like, for example, why the game wouldn't let me sort based on elements and would literally remove the element from the... Oh, okay. I missed another one there. I don't think that shouldn't be the issue. Split 0, split 1, there we go, and split at 1, there we go. Okay, try this again. Oh. Assuming this works for the inventory, this should also work for the loot table. It's just a matter of actually setting it up. I'm not even gonna... Nope, that didn't work. Okay, I genuinely don't know why that's not working. Let me just go through my code for a second here. Okay, so we're setting up an array of strings. We're going through that array for item and game party items. So we're going through every item in our inventory, skipping it if it's not an item, skipping it if it's not meant to be included, and then when we get to here, we are splitting the name of that item wherever there's a space. We're checking the first instance, the first word in that name. Oh, no. No. Maybe? Maybe? I think I may have figured out the problem. Oh no, that's going to make this a little bit more complicated. Okay, let's find out. Oh, no, maybe. Okay, I'm only going to take items that have 2 words in the name and then see what happens. Nope, that still didn't work. That still did not work. I thought maybe because I grabbed an orange, which only has 1 word, that this was drawing from nothing and then throwing an error, but that's not what it's doing wrong. What is going on? Did I mess that up? No, hold on. Wait, for I and not 14. Okay, no. See, now I'm realizing I'm looking at this, and no, that still doesn't. Okay, hold on. Maybe I had it right the first time. That I is equal to the content of the array, not necessarily the position of the array. Because I'm looking at this now, and that's going from 9 to 14, basically creating an array of numbers from 9 to 14 inclusive. And then I is equal to whatever point it's at in the array because it's checking to see that there. Same thing with down here for item in game party items. Item is equal to whatever is in that array, not the position of the array. So I had that right the first time. Why would it not? Split. Okay. I'm just gonna try something. I'm going to comment out the last half of that statement. If item name split based on the spaces, the first word in that name is equal to I, which that should work for comparing strings because that has worked for me before. Already this video is going longer than I had intended, but this is what I wanted to showcase is, what happens when I find something that's, should be a very simple thing to fix and it goes horribly wrong. I kind of expected that would happen, but did it happen in the same place? No, it didn't. It went to a different one, which tells me that it passed through the first check just fine. Can I just not use an or statement in that? That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Why would it not let me do that if it can't? Ah, okay. Weird. This is bonkers, but okay. Um, okay, I just need to tweak this a little bit and make it a little bit different. So what we're gonna do, yeah, I'm just gonna run through. I didn't do something totally completely different, did I? Maybe? I don't know. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna try this. I'm going to keep this particular if statement the same way it is, but I'm also going to add an extra line of code. Next. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go run it again for the other side of it. And the reason for that is that if it checks the first word in the name and it is equal to what we're currently checking it against, it'll push that item, but then it's also going to exit that iteration of the loop and it's going to go to the next one. And the reason for that is so that it does not run this line of code, which should basically make it so that if the item only has 1 word in its name, it will not check to see what the second word is, which I think may have been causing a problem. So this just next is that if it checks the first word and it's accurate, then it's going to skip to the next one. Otherwise, then it will check the second word. So we're going to try using that this time. Oh gosh, sometimes this just makes no sense, but you know what? If it works, it works. That's fine. Yeah, okay, sure. Why argue with it? Okay, after the include, I do that, and then I think that's all I need to do for that. Yeah, and then I'll take this out. That's the new code. Bring this over to the sort inventory script. Indent that back over, except now it's, I don't know if that's technically a global variable or it's within this scene anyway, not within the entire module or anything. But okay, next unless item window includes that. There we go. Next if nil. Split and check the first one, and next, and there we go. And we'll go just add that to make sure that it's adding up the backpack capacity correctly, and get rid of that. Okay, this should be fixed now. This should actually work. We will find out. Oh no, wait, I should probably double check. No, yeah, that's good. There, okay. Now we're going to test this. This should work this time. And if it does, then we can go on to adding sorting for loot tables as well as backpack. Okay, just buy a bunch of items, including an orange. No! It started to work and then it didn't. What did I do wrong this time? Oh, okay, just a stupid mistake. There we go. Next unless item window includes that. Not. Yeah, okay. Yep, that was the only mess up there. We're good. And that's just it. You can't be afraid of, like, writing some code, running it, seeing if it works, and if it doesn't and it crashes the game, just fix it. You know, the engine will literally point you to the one line of code that's throwing the problem. And now, okay, it worked. Good, good, good. And it actually looks like it's, yeah, okay. So, yeah, so I did a utility, a stat healer, a revival, another utility, a health healer. Let's grab a bomb, a stat healer again, and another bomb. And let's check to see if these are sorted correctly. Okay, so we've got our healer first, then our revival items, then our stat healers, then our bombs, then our utilities. That works. And if let's just do this. Let's test to make sure that it's actually selecting the correct item where it needs to. Looks like it is. Yep, that is fantastic. Okay, good. That works. Now we have sorted items, and they're basically just sorted automatically based on category, which is totally fine. You know, it would be nice to add a little bit more player control over how you can sort items, but at least this way, if I did that reset the shops? No, it didn't. Okay, let me give you an example here. We're going to call common event reset shops. There we go. If I do this and I buy a whole bunch of the same item, but I split them up, you know, with other items in between, it should sort them all together, which is the main thing that I wanted the script to do. I wanted to make sure that if you have multiple of the same item, those are clustered and grouped together in your inventory. So the shop should be reset. Let's get an orange, a torch, a heal mushroom, a torch, a heal mushroom. You can see they're kind of staggered in this. Let's reset the shops again, and let's get another orange, and then a grape, a torch, and a grape. Now, this should be sorted orange, orange, grape, grape, heal mushroom, torch, torch, torch. Orange, orange, grape, grape, mushroom, mushroom, torch, torch, torch. That worked. That actually worked. Okay, that is fantastic. Okay, so now the next step is to make sure that it sorts in the loot table, which is not that tough to do. So all we got to do is go to the loot table, and where is it here? Refresh loot, refresh. Okay, I just got to find window label, no. Window label 2, still no. Window inventory, here we go. Hold on a second. Did I mess that up? Maybe. Oh no, here we go, here we go. This is basically where I sort everything. Da, 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 da. Okay, if it's equal to 0, that means it's weapons. If it's, or no, armor. 1 is weapons, and then this here is where it sorts items. Let me make sure though. This is for storage. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to do this a little bit differently in this one. Again, I'm gonna take this and make that global, or at least within the scene. Item names. There, good. Okay. Now where did I? Here it is. Okay. Once again, that's going to be global. Okay, so what I need to do here is essentially, oh, no. What did I do? Oh, no, yeah, that's good, that's good. So this basically checks if it's sorting armors, weapons, or anything else, which in this case would be items. So we're going to, next. If yeah, okay, this isn't actually necessary. Hold on. Okay, for let me just take a look at how this is structured. So it's going through the rarities, then it's going through your backpack capacity, I believe. No, storage plus storage capacity. Yeah, storage starting point in the database up to the max capacity of the storage. And if weapons at iname is not equal to nothing, yeah, okay. This might be where it gets a little bit interesting, to say the least, because now I need to remember how it stores items. Okay, I think I can actually just get rid of this entirely. And this will go in here. Now, if the item name is not equal to nothing, then it pushes the thing, which means that, yeah, it only stores items that actually have names in the database, and the way I remove them from storage is by deleting the name, rather than the whole database entry. And so what I need to do here, if the name is equal to, is not equal to nothing, then push that item. But if it is equal to something, then I actually need to check if the name one second here. Let me go back to, because again, I don't want to press the wrong button. I'm going to do this. There we go. Back to the loot table. So we're going to check to see if the name split into separate words is equal to, let me just make sure I'm not totally destroying this. Yep, that's where I should, there we go. Okay, back down to loot table, here we go. This is where I need to bring that in, there we go. If the, there we go, okay. Split at I is equal, at 0 is equal to I, then push the item. I don't need to increase game variable for this. There we go. Good. Except we're pushing it into this array instead of that one. Don't need that. There we go. So now, for sorting the loot table, we're checking the item names, we're checking the slot in storage, then we're comparing just to make sure that the item actually exists, and if it does, then we're checking to see if the name of the item is equal to the one that we're sorting it against first. Except I'm reusing variable I, so I need to go like this, I. There we go. Yep. So if we're going I through item names, then checking against the storage, if the item at I has a name, and if that item at I split that name, if the first word is equal to the name at I, or the second word, then it pushes that. Perfect. Okay, that's what I needed. Now for the locker, we actually can't store items in the locker, so I don't need to run it for that one. Weapon shop, armor shop, item shop. Here we go. This is the next one that we need to do. I'll just copy this, bring it down to the item shop. And it's essentially the exact same thing. It's just instead of instead of checking the storage, I'm checking the shop capacity. But everything else should be pretty much this. Oh, what did I? Nope, there we go. Okay. Yeah, can get rid of that now. That's good. So we're checking item names through the shop capacity. Checking to see if that's. Hold on, this was the original code down here. So checking to see, yep, that's correct. And then we're going to check that, loot data, push. Okay, good. So I can get rid of that. That should work for the item shop. Then for loot tables, and then I think the last thing I need is backpack. Okay, we're getting this done. This is, because we did all the debugging kind of on the front end, this should work first try unless I absolutely destroyed something along the way. Same thing here. Okay, so weapons, armors, items, here we go. Loot table displays everything at once, not just one category, but then the backpack displays by categories. So I'm gonna isolate that. Oh, that's interesting. What did I do wrong there? No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna bring that down here. Indent that. End statement. There we go. That's all wrapped nicely. This checks if the name is nothing. Okay, good. I'm gonna copy that. Good. That looks correct. That looks correct. Okay, so we'll bring that all together. Okay, just want to double check one thing here. Item shop, item shop. If the name, yep. Okay, good. Don't think we're missing any end statements there. And now the exact same thing we're going to do for refreshing the inventory, but it is going to be a little bit different with this one. Because this, I actually do need to make sure that my capacity is factored in here. Okay, so this is where the items get factored in. So backpack, if backpack's equal to 1. Okay, so we're going to take this, we're going to put it in here, indent that over, wrap that up. Then we're going through the backpack capacity. If they have the item, great. Then we're going to, okay. All right, this is where it changes up a little bit. So if we have the item that we are currently sorting through, then we will check to see if it's equal to what we're sorting it against. And we're going to push it into the inventory, not loot data. Okay, I believe that is everything we need there. Good. Okay. Close that. There we go. Okay. And I think that's everything. Let me just double check. That's the salvage mechanic. This is how we actually set everything up correctly. Okay, I think we are good to go. Let's check to see if this worked. So now, when we open up a shop or a loot table or a storage chest or anything like that, everything should be sorted by category when we're sorting items. I want to double check to make sure it didn't break anything with the armor and weapon shops as well, but let's find out. So let's start with the weapon and armor shops just as a control. Yeah, those are still sorted by rarity. That is good. Nothing broke there. Armor shop, same deal. Yep, everything's sorted by rarity. Good. Now, let's check the item shop. No! I think it's funny that that broke at 666. Okay. What did I do wrong? Did I not? Is that not? Why is that not? Let me take a closer look at what I just did wrong there. Why? For what reason? For what reason? Okay. All right. What happened? Undefined method each. What are you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? This is specifically in the item shop. Yeah, of course, because I haven't actually. What did I? What? Why? Okay. I feel like this is something very simple and stupid that I'm just completely overlooking. Uh, uh, oh, that's exactly why. Because I'm trying to refresh the loot before I've actually initialized the... Okay, that's an easy fix. I just put that up there. Done. Okay. Yeah, that was just a bit of an oversight. I'm pretty sure the code is actually still good. Okay, now let's check the item shop. There we go. And it looks like it is sorted. So we got the healer first, then the revival, then our stat healers in order from the top tier to lower tier, then our bombs, then utility items. And if we reset the shops, again, healers, revivals, stat healers, bombs, utilities. And if we just kind of do this a couple times. Now this is the only thing here. Bombs are all sorted together, but they're not sorted based on their type. So it's fire, then ice, then two more fires. That's because of the ID at which this point is between these ones. But the bombs themselves are actually grouped together, which is nice. Okay, I think this actually has worked, but to make sure it worked. Oh, and there you go. See, top tier healer, second tier healer, bottom tier healer. That worked. To make sure this worked, though, we're going to do this. Buy them in kind of a random order, and as you can see, they did sort on this side as well, which means it works for the backpack, not just the shop. That's fantastic. And let's check with storage. So if I try to kind of sort these in any random order, yeah, it's going to put them in the order that they are sorted by, not the order that I put them in there. Okay, good. Very good. This makes me very happy. There's one more thing I need to do to check this though, which is to make sure that it works not just in... Oh no, did I just... no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. No, I don't want to spoil the game. I went to the wrong dungeon. There's one more thing I need to do to check this to make sure that it works, which is I need to check to make sure that it sorts things in loot tables from like monster drops. So I'm just going to buy everything here. Good. We're going to go to a dungeon that I will not be giving spoilers away for, because it's the first dungeon in the game and is available in the demo. And then all I need to do is find a chest or a bag on the floor. Perfect. And this works. It works. It works, it works, it works, it works, it works. And there you have it. Sorted items. And that is how I write scripts. It is messy and awkward and oftentimes makes no sense. I am not an expert scripter by any means, but the thing is, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to try something, see if it works, go back and be like, why the heck didn't this work? Fix it, and try again until eventually I get it to work. And it does. It works exactly the way I intended it to. It would be nice if there was maybe a little bit more player control over how they could sort items, but maybe I'll figure out how to do that later on. I'm probably not going to record that. I just wanted to record an example of, figuring out some sort of a scripting issue and how I actually write code. Um, this wasn't meant to be like a tutorial or anything. This isn't like, oh, watch how I write code and then learn how to do it yourself. This is a watch how I absolutely do not know what I'm doing, but I figure it out anyway. Yeah, I don't actually know if anybody's going to find this interesting, but that's not the point. Uh, anyway, that's it for this video, I guess. So, hooray, we figured it out. We made it work. And on to the next challenge. So, have a great day, and I will see you next time.